Internet, Eric here. It is still a request time here on my channel, and I am once again doing a review per request of my buddy Roger over at Channel Downstar. Please check him out, check out his channel, and check out his Patreon. Last time I did a review per his request. I reviewed the first Feast film. Wow, I said that correctly. And now I'm talking the sequel, Feast 2, Sloppy Seconds. Came out in 2008, once again directed by John Gulager. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I do discuss plot spoilers and specific scenes. So hopefully you're not too worried about me spoiling Feast 2, Sloppy Seconds. And I'm also going to assume that you've seen the first one as well. Alright, basic plot is it takes place the same on the Feast 1 has just ended and we cut right to the beginning of the same day. Bozo and heroine number 2 have driven off after defeating the creatures at the bar, and we're now following Biker Queen, I believe her name is, and everyone still gets their own little freeze frame, name tag, and then a little bio. She is the twin sister of, I believe her name was Harley Mom in the first one. Harley Mom, twin sisters. Harley Mom was the woman that had her leg cut off. She was dragged to the desert, face fucked by one of the feast creatures, and then blown up. We're following her. She wants to know what happened to her sister. She finds a bartender, Clue Gulager, still alive. Finds him. She learns from him what happened. Goes to the town to look for Bozo. Meets a bunch of other people. We find out what happened in the town. They were also attacked by the feast creatures. And they're trying to fend off these creatures while also trying to get into the police station so they can have guns and protection behind the bars. But it is locked because Bozo's drug-addicted uncle Hobo has holed himself up there and locked himself in, and no one else can get in. Yeah. Alright, I had a fucking blast with this one too. It's a total change of tone. The first one was as serious as it could have been. This was definitely going the comedy route, and I'll explain why. Well, first we'll get to the characters. Clue Gulager as bartender is still my favorite character. This grumpy old fuck who takes no shit from anybody. He says what's on his mind. He's just a tough old bastard. Very likable. What's her name? What did I say? Biker Queen. She's not a good person. I'll say that because of the first thing we see what she does when we're introduced to her, and it just gets worse as it goes on. She's not a good person at all. She's not really likable in a sense, but she's also so tough and determined to find out what happened to her sister and the things she'll do to get to that. You don't want to take your eyes off of her. You want to know what she's going to do next. We also meet Carl Anthony Payne from Martin. He was Cole from Martin. He plays Slasher, as in I slash the prices because I'm a car salesman. Him and his buddy his partner Greg, and his wife, Slasher's wife, Secrets, who thinks that whatever she wishes will come true. They have their own little love triangle going on. Great chemistry with everybody when they meet up. We also have two Mexican luchador dwarves called Thunder and Lightning. Lightning is played by a Spanish actor who I don't know, and he doesn't speak English through the entire film, but he does have subtitles. And the other is Thunder, played by, I only know him as Marty the Midget from Howard Stern, but he was also in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Again, they're two brothers who have a great, the actors have a great chemistry. They live with their grandmother who they really love and care for, and they're caught in this as well. All these actors work well with each other, whether they're likable characters or not. And that makes for a good horror film when characters are being stalked or are in danger by, be it Jason, Freddy, or Feast monsters. It makes them likable for the most part, and you want this group to survive. You know half of them probably won't, but it's good for tension building and, oh shit, please, I like this character a lot. Hopefully he doesn't die or she doesn't die, and you're happy when they survive, or you feel that sense of dread or being pissed off when they don't. So the cast is great. I really love the cast. The gore is still top notch. It's so much more over the top. I mentioned a change in tone because it does take more of the comedic route. I could tell right away because when we meet Biker Queen, I'm just going to call her Biker Queen. I think that's her name. We meet her, she's got the vest on, and of course she's in an all-female biker group, and they're called the Bleeders. And the first time we see Thunder and Lightning, Thunder, that's Marty, he's drinking, I think, or playing cards or something at the table while Lightning is banging this random chick, and she gets pulled out the window by a creature. And so Marty, Thunder and Lightning are running out of their trailer, and Lightning's butt-ass naked, and you see a glimpse of his dick that's got to be at least a foot long, and it's swaying in the wind, and it's just, okay, we're going this route. And you know what? Once you get in the mind frame that it's going to be a little more tongue-in-cheek and goofy, you can ride with it, and you're going to have fun. There's a lot. There's a lot of fun in this film. Honey Pie is back. She escaped in the first film. She has her own little story. After she is found out to be alive by Bartender, who I will just say in a really brutal scene is not very happy that she's alive after she ditched everybody in the bar. She is locked in a grocery store while trying to hide from a newborn feast monster, and she's very likable. She's still kind of an airhead. Doesn't know how to take care of herself, but she's very, very likable in this film. So it was good to see her return. Her character, there's more to her character in this one. The gore, like I said, the gore is really top notch, and then I really knew this was going the comedic route where there's an autopsy scene. They find one of the feast creatures, and I believe it's Greg. Greg, like I said, the only one with a fucking normal name. He's performing an autopsy on the creature, and when humans die, they lose all their bodily functions. Let's just say there's a lot of shit and jizz and piss involved, and it's just everywhere on everybody, and it reminded me of a trauma film, and I am a trauma fan for the most part, so I ran with this. I'm like, okay. And it was a really funny scene, an intense scene, and an oh shit moment scene when they find out what's really inside the stomach of these creatures. Lots of oh shit moments. There's a scene where poor grandma, I mentioned the grandma of Thunder and Lightning, and let's just say I said in my first review with Beer Guy, he gets vomited on, and he starts to slowly melt and decompose. Well, same thing happens to Grandma, and they're trying to take care of Grandma through this whole ordeal. And here's kind of a plot point spoiler, but I already warned you. They end up on the top of a building, and it's a building across the street from the police station. It's not either across the street or right next to it. Either way, they can't make the jump from building to building. So they make this fucking weird-ass makeshift catapult. I won't go into description of how they make it because it's pretty ghetto rigged, or for a better term. And they don't know if they're trying to see who is light enough to do it. Well, they have two dwarves. Well, Lightning and Thunder's like, fuck that, we're not going to do it. So what do? Poor Grandma. And it's just a sad scene because Thunder and Lightning don't want it to happen. They say their goodbyes, and then when it finally happens, I'm not going to lie. When I was watching this with my wife, and they tested it on Grandma, I was like this the whole time. And you already know Grandma's not going to make it because she got vomited on, but she hits that wall like a garbage bag full of wet leaves and water, man, and it was a total holy shit moment. And then, of course, well, one of the dwarves has to go on it, and it does not end the best. And I will leave it at that because that is another holy shit moment. And speaking of holy shit moments, now I said this movie took a big turn in tone. There was something in this, and like I said in the, I'm not going to spoil this because this needs to be seen to be believed. I said in the first film, no one is safe. No matter gender or age or animal, anything like that. Well, there's a scene with a character who tries to play a hero. And I'm trying to say this the most simple way without spoiling it. I've said that I discuss plot spoilers, but I don't want to spoil this. Roger knows what I'm talking about. Anyone who has seen Feast 2 knows what I'm talking about. So please be cautious if you do comment in this video not to spoil it for anybody. A character tries to play the hero and tries to do the right thing. And then he's chased by the feast creatures, which I'll get into talking about them too. And he does the unthinkable to save his own life. And that is a really, really big holy shit moment. I did not see that coming at all. It's very gratuitous. I know there's a lot of close-up shots on this incident, and it does linger for a little too long for my taste. But it's like I said, it's like a trauma film. Your chains are broken. Hands are no longer tied. There's no going back to anything. I think this scene was just for shock value, and it did its job. It didn't need to be in the movie. I wasn't offended by it. No way. I don't offend easy, but I'm just like, that was really close to pushing it. But we'll just end it like that. If you think Grandma was bad, this is worse. We'll talk about the feast creatures. I like how this happens it's in the middle of the day. It's out in the open. We get to see these feast creatures finally. They have a cool design. They do sometimes in close-up shots look like dudes in rubber suits, and you can kind of see like their claws kind of wiggling when they're running. Noticeable. And I don't think John Gulager really gave a shit. He knew he was making kind of low-budget schlock. He didn't hide the fact that it was totally noticeable blue screen behind them when they're on top of the building or what they're doing. It kind of added to the little bit of a charm to this film. It reminded me of I know Roger has seen it, Bitch Slap, which I will get into. The movie Bitch Slap. I'll talk about that someday. It did add a little bit to the charm, at least the blue screen effect. I mean, was it too distracting? It could be for some people. The feast creatures, as awesome as the design is, did look very rubbery, man in a suit type of stuff. But that's just nitpicking. Super nitpicking. I really love this film. This film was a lot of fun, even with the change in tone. I will say this. If I had not known that there was going to be a Feast 3 that does take place, because Roger's already told me, and I'll spoil it for you, these all take place in the span of 1 or 2 days with each other. If I had not known that there was going to be a Feast 3, I would be pissed at how this ended, because it is a setup film with the way it ends, and the way it ends is like, it just ends, and you're like, God damn it, I want more. I would be pissed if I didn't know that there's a third one, but since there is, I'm happy. Overall, wow. I don't know if I'm forgetting anything off the top of my head, but right now, Feast 2, sloppy seconds. I still think I prefer Feast 1 more because it's more serious and intense in a lot of moments. But Feast 2 is just another fun 90 minutes. And I didn't know this. Roger told me that the woman who plays Harley Mom and then also Biker Queen, is John Gulager's wife. I mentioned this in a hangout with Roger. I'm like, imagine you're the actress and John comes up to you. He's like, "Honey, I have a character for you to play in 3 films. She's in Feast 3. What do you do? You know, I have a character for you to play in Feast in these trilogies of films, and at least in the first 2, I won't say what happens in the 3rd one until that. In the first one, you're going to get your leg cut off and then mouth raped by a creature and then blown up. And then in the second one, we're going to have a dead creature shit and cum all over you. And perfect way to sell that role to your wife. But John Gulager has fun with this film. The characters look like the actors and actresses look like they're having fun. They're totally self-aware of what they're in. Feast 2 Sloppy Seconds, a lot of fun. Highly, highly recommended if you're a fan of the first one and you can accept the fact that it's taking a change in tone. You're gonna have fun. So Feast 2 Sloppy Seconds, I salute you. Or that was stupid, but yeah, highly recommend Feast 2 Sloppy Seconds. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, click the bell. Don't. Comment below. Tell me what you think. Tell me if I'm wrong in your opinion. Tell me if I'm right. Anything you want. Any interaction is good. Please go check out Roger at Channel Donstar. Check out his Patreon account. If I remember to, I'll put the link down at the bottom. Yeah. So in the end, I will say, and coming up soon, I will review Feast 3, The Happy Finish, for Roger and anyone else who's interested. And then I got more random reviews coming out. More You Hate It, I Don't. The usual fucking spiel on my channel. So, in the end, I will say cheers. And this was actually a Sloppy Seconds that I did enjoy.